Welcome to this episode of the $1 Million Mastermind. I'm Larry Weidel, and before we get started, if you want to know exactly how to win again and again, go to weidelonwinning.com/webinar now to watch something I've put together for you. Now let's get going into this episode of $1 Million Mastermind. I am here with James Creech. He's what is your title with Paladin Software?
I'm the co-founder and CEO.
Co-founder and CEO. So if things go wrong there, he gets all the blame.
That's right.
And if things go well, it's due to the success of his incredible team.
You got it. That's right. 100%.
How many employees do you have, James?
We're a little over 20 people now, 21, 22, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, it's amazing how big you can get and how much territory you can cover using technology with just a handful of people right now. Like you say, you guys are expanding into multiple countries. You've got offices in 3 continents. It's just amazing how you don't need hundreds and hundreds of people to do astounding things if you use the leverage that's available today. So let me ask you this. How did you wind up did you have an interest? What kind of interest in business or growing up, what were your forming things that you gravitated to that you feel like influenced you when you started your business?
Yeah.
In other words, what gives you the right at 25 years old to start your own podcast? See, you've got to have a certain confidence about yourself to be able to start that at 25 years old.
Yeah, sure thing. To be honest, it was just, why not, right? I mean, I was listening to a lot of podcasts at the time, and I figured, hey, I want to be able to learn from these great guests and share their stories with more people. So just said, hey, well, why can't I give it a shot? And I think that's a great philosophy and attitude that a lot of young entrepreneurs need to have is, you can't wait until someone gives you permission. You have to be willing to take risks and take chances to do it on your own.
And so growing up, were what did you do right? What would you say? And why did you do those things?
Well, I'm fortunate to have awesome parents and a really great family structure that I think helped me in the early days. And I did a lot of things when I was young. I was really academic oriented and loved going to school and learning new things and participating in a lot of sports, playing tennis and soccer and everything else growing up. But then also doing things like mock trial. That was one of the formative early experiences for me, where it got me interested in political science, and I was pre-law at USC. Figured I wanted to go to law school at a certain point, and ended up interning at a law firm and really enjoyed it, but kind of found myself going more the business direction. So I think just being open to opportunities, whether that was as a kid or, in college, just saying kind of yes to a lot of things, exploring different things, and then kind of figuring out, okay, what do I like? What do I not like? And then, going from there.
Where did that come from? Did you have any role models that kind of influenced you, encouraged you to go in that direction, that caused you to feel like that was the way to go?
Certainly my parents definitely have been, inspirations and role models for me throughout my life, and then been fortunate to work with some really great people over the years and trying to glean things from each one, probably contacts and relationships. There's so many, Clint Salee, Jason Rapp, Eric Brownstein, probably many more that I'm forgetting, but just incredible advisors, mentors, resources for me in my life that have encouraged me, believed in me, and challenged me to continue on my growth and encouraging me to try new things and experiment and learn and figure everything out on my entrepreneurial journey.
Well, let me ask you this: what did they have in common? And because it's like this, people can, you don't have to just, if you didn't grow up and naturally have these kind of people in your life, you can find them, you can spend time, you can go out of your way and look to associate with these kinds of people, and there's ways of finding people like this. So you need to be clear what kind of people, what kind of influence is going to be a positive. And then, so when you're looking for at your associates, the people you're spending time with, you don't just take leftovers.
Yeah.
You can be selective about who you wind up following, listening to, going out of your way, calling up for coffee,
Hmm.
bouncing ideas off of. And so, what would you say this group of people? Because I'm the product of having some really powerful, positive people along the way impact my
Hmm.
life. And I wouldn't be here without them. I mean, there's just no question.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of information online, but there aren't a lot of people who've actually done something. In my case, I've actually built a successful business that's accrued over $5 billion in assets under management and has done well even during trying times. Now, if you want to know exactly how I've done this, go to whitelmwinning.com/webinar now. I've compressed a decade of learning into 5 short weeks just for those of you who want to give yourself an incredible advantage and are tired of waiting and watching others move up.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
one
I feel
reason
the
why.
same way. I mean, there's so many qualities that these people share in common, but the biggest thing is that they were willing to give. Right? I think I recognize that these are great people. They're very grounded. They have awesome kind of complete lives. In the sense of their family, their profession, their community. Right? They found ways to be very enriched and complete and balanced in all those important areas, and they were willing to give of their time and their energy to me. Right? They figured they saw, I think, potential in me, or they were also very open to sharing their wisdom. And the snotty nosed kid saying, hey, well, I'll take you under my wing and I'll teach you things. And I try to also pay that forward and then also give back to them when I'm able to. So I'm totally grateful for them. But I think the pattern and the commonality among all of those great resources and guides I've had along the way is their openness and their willingness to give.
Did any of them ever say anything to you that you didn't understand at the time, or you felt was not really on target?
I'm sure. Yeah, no immediate examples necessarily spring to mind, but I think there's things you hear when you're young that you're not ready to hear or fully appreciate, and then you realize them later on. A great example of that is as I observed, for instance, like my parents' relationship in their marriage these many years. Now that I'm engaged and preparing for marriage with my fiance, there's a lot of these lessons that either you observe or this advice that you've been given that you weren't quite ready for at the time, but now it carries so much more weight and gravity, and you appreciate it as you're ready to enter that phase. So yeah, I mean, don't discount those lessons that you get along the way. Sometimes it's not for you right now, but it might hit for you 10 years later even.
Right. Now, what things do you look back? What are the things that you're happiest that you did? We all make mistakes and do things like that, but what are the things that you look back that you feel like gave you the biggest advantage?
Hmm. I think I'm happy that I chose my own path, and it's changed a lot over the years. But I've been very purposeful about, okay, what do I want to do with my time? I'm grateful that I elected to start a company and took the entrepreneurial leap of faith, which is a very scary thing and a very difficult thing in the first few years. But I think what I've realized is adulthood in particular is really all about mastering yourself. And so I've been very fortunate to, have these people around me, have these experiences that have allowed me to understand myself in a very deep way, and then take those lessons and apply them as I continue to sharpen the saw, right? Improve myself, and then also to help others make my business better. And then, coach people that I work with internally at Paladin, but also externally through my other advisory relationships to say, hey, how can I help you, learn from these lessons, and what can I learn from you through this as well?
I appreciate you taking the time, and I'm excited about your career. I am curious, what main thing motivated you to start your own business when you did start it?
I think it was an opportunity to challenge myself. And I'm very privileged to have two incredible co-founders, and collectively the three of us thought, okay, this is the right moment in time. We've got a great team. We've got a good idea. We can execute against this. We don't have all the pieces necessarily perfectly assembled yet, but we can figure that out as we go along. And we want to bet on ourselves because we see influencer marketing as this huge explosive growth channel. We see the opportunity, and we want to help realize that. So I think that's been probably the biggest lesson throughout.
Yeah, and you make a great point, is that when you launch, all you don't need the perfect plan, but you just need to see your way clear to where we can make this work. Any of the unknowns we can figure out along the way. We'll either figure it out or we'll ask somebody else. There's nothing new under the sun. Somebody, whatever we run into, somebody else has figured out. But this is doable, and so we're going to go for it. And so thanks so much, James. This has been a lot of fun. Best wishes moving forward.
My pleasure, Larry. Thank you for having me. It's been such a delight getting a chance to talk with you.
I'm going to look forward to the next time. Thank you, James.
Me too. Thanks. Take care.
If you enjoyed what you've heard and are dead serious about finding out for yourself exactly how this works in the real world, I've taken the most valuable business lessons I've learned over 40 years and put them into something for you to watch. Go to whiteelementwinning.com/webinar now in order to move up as fast as possible. I'm Larry Weidel, and I run the $1 Million Mastermind. Go, go, go.